at the conference room. All the exhibitors are currently gathered together. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Another couple of minutes before we start, request you all to please take your seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be beginning momentarily. I request everyone at the back also to kindly take your seats. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We're very proud to welcome you to Isee 2022, an ecosystem of the elevator and escalator industry with a whole host of dignitaries and luminaries today this morning. And we also encourage you to visit all the stalls that have been painstakingly put up by all our exhibitors, and also give a shout out to all the sponsors for the oncoming sessions. But as is customary for our Indian tradition, before we begin anything, we would request all of you to kindly stand for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If I can please request you to remain standing for a few more moments. I think it is only right and proper that we begin today's session by remembering those that are not amongst us and an in memoriam that we have prepared for our industry friends, colleagues, and peers who are with the status of dearly departed. So I request you to kindly remain standing for the next couple of minutes while we pay homage to those who have left us for the heavenly abode. Thank you very much. Kindly take your seats. Thank you for your respect. As emotionally stirring as that tribute was, I am once again very happy to welcome all of you to Isee 2022. My name is Ranjit Sharma, and in behalf of this wonderful man, Mr. Tak Matthews here, who's had the strength, courage, and conviction to put all of this together, I would be very pleased and very honored to welcome the chief guest and the specialist delegate panel for this morning for the inaugural session. Tak, may I request you to please invite the first set of guests on stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This industry was built on the backs of many people like this. So it's a little emotional for me because a number of them were my mentors. Yet, the show has to go on. We have a number of delegates for our inauguration, and I would like to invite the first two gentlemen who head two of the key associations we have in India. And I would like to invite Mr. Amit Gosain. He is the president of IMA's Elevator Division, and he's also the president of Kone India, one of the leaders of the elevator industry in India. I would next like to invite Mr. Suraj Thodimarat, who is the president of ICMAI, a newly formed association of the elevator industry. And he's also the president of Vittur. I know many of you wouldn't know Vittur. I don't need to introduce who Vittur is for India and South Asia. Suraj, if you could come up on stage. Now, when association presidents are here, I have no more role to play, so I'm going to step off.
I wish it were that easy to wash your hands off the responsibility. If I may please request Mr. Amit Gosain to come and introduce the next set of panelists. That would be Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, please. Can I please request next Mr. Girish Dravid to come up on stage? Can I request Mrs. Suraj to please welcome him? Yes. Can I please request Mr. Amit Gosain to welcome Mr. Ajit Raghavan on the stage next, please? Thank you, sir. Can I request Mrs. Suraj to welcome Mr. Ravi Shankar Thandavan on stage, please? Can I request Mr. Amit Gosain to next welcome Ms. Sheila Sweat on stage? Everyone together. Thank you and welcome. Can I request Mr. Suraj to please welcome Mr. Massimo Bezzi on stage, please? Can I next request Mr. Amit Gosain to welcome Mr. Andrea Codebo on stage? I hope I got that name right. And finally, can I request Mr. Suraj to welcome Mr. Mohammad Hafizur Rahman on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, a quick introduction of the panel as they take their seat on the stage. Mr. Amit Gosain, of course, is president of AIMA Elevator Division. Mr. Suraj Thodimarat is president of ICMAI. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, other than the legendary figure that he already is chief guest for today, Naredco, vice chairman, co-founder, and obviously the managing director of the Hiranandani Group. Mr. Girish Dravid holds the position of chairman of CTBUH, or Council for Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat, India. Mr. Ajit Raghavan is the president of FSAI, Fire and Security Association of India. Mr. Ravi Shankar Thandavan is the general secretary of FOCUS, or what is also called Forum of Critical Utility Services. Ms. Sheila Swed is the executive director of IAEC, or the International Association of Elevator Consultants. Mr. Massimo Vezzi is the president of ESME, or the European Federation of Elevator Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. Mr. Andrea Kodebo is the president of ANCAM, and Mr. Mohammed Hafizur Rahman is the director of BILIA, Bangladesh Elevator, Escalators and Lift Importers Association. So welcome everyone to the stage. If I can request everyone to just gather together for a memorial photograph. Next on the agenda is that we will start the proceedings of the day by lighting the commemorative lamp for Isee 2022. May I please request approximately half of the delegates to go to the lamp on the left and approximately half to the right, if you don't mind.
सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ गं गणपतये नमः तये नमः ॐ गं गणपतये नमः ॐ गं गणपतये नमः
Can I next please invite to the dais Mr. Suraj Todarimat for delivering the welcome address on behalf of ICMAI.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Isee 2022. Welcome to the dignitaries on stage. Welcome to the guests in this conference hall. And welcome to each and every participant at the expo here and to all the visitors who are here today. On behalf of ICMAI, it's a wonderful occasion that I'm a part of the organization to welcome you all here. To introduce about ICMAI, I think it was sometime in the middle of 2020, the pandemic was going on, and we felt that with the activities slowing down, it's probably time to focus on what we can do as a community for the industry, by the industry. And that's where the idea of bringing together the component manufacturers together came about. It was fructified in 2022 September by the registering of the association. And since then, we have grown from strength to strength, currently at around 37 members. So what ICMAI focuses on is how to make the industry a safer place for everybody, how to make people aware of standards, how to make India a powerhouse such that India can be a source nation for not just manufacturing of the components domestic, but also for exporting it globally. So that's the purpose for which ICMAI is formed. To that extent, we have already progressed in terms of a lot of programs on safety awareness, on subjects of technical natures, and in the future, we have plans to take it to the next step by making sure that we provide increased technical coverage to people from the industry. I request those of you who are not yet members to consider joining ICMAI. We have a stall at the expo as well. So further on, it's been 3.5 years since we had a major event like this. It's wonderful to see the crowd that's already beginning to come in. I believe that we're going to have a record number of visitors coming in. So let me take this occasion once again, welcome all of you, and let's have a wonderful event, Isee 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh Thodimarat. Now, if I may please request Mr. Amit Gosai to come and deliver his welcome address on behalf of AIMA. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome to all of you. I'd actually just start with saying that TAC, you've put up a great show. And let's have a round of applause for TAC first. I think he's brought the industry together once again, and especially after quite some bad days of COVID. And now I think we can see everybody without a mask here, and it's great to see everybody, and good to meet industry friends, people, and a lot of suppliers here who supply to us, to a lot of manufacturers, and do a great job. Some very old friends as well. So it's actually extremely good to be here. But let me just talk about 2 or 3 things that TAC suggested I speak about. Firstly, of course, Mr. Hiranandani is here. He knows more about the real estate than anybody else does here. But let me just say that the real estate industry in India is doing quite well. We are growing fast. It's a very positive energy for the industry, especially after COVID. There was a latent demand. Residentials picked up quite well. Of course, the prices have also shot up because the demand and supply is already always there. But when you look at the commercial side, that's also picking up, which means people are getting back into offices, and things are moving in India. To our elevator and escalator industry, we are also growing fast, over 30% annually, which is actually a great growth. We do think that IMF predicts our growth of India to be between 6 and 8% for the next 3 to 4 years. And this is a fantastic growth considering what's happening around the world with the war that's going on and many other things. So a lot of eyes on India, of course, and the industry growth here. So it's important that the suppliers keep their supply up, and the elevator and escalator industry is also prepared. I'd just like to talk about 3 things which are extremely important for our industry. One is that we need to be having products that are extremely safe, which is very, very passionate to, I'm sure, all of us. And therefore, it's important that we test the product for safety. And that's the primary objective that we should take, that we all produce whatever products we do for safety. And I would also suggest that we should have a centralized lift act from an elevator escalator perspective, that there is a basic standard of manufacturing, which I'm sure all manufacturers in India, and I know that they've been saying it, that whether they're big manufacturers or small manufacturers, they'd like to do that. Thirdly, of course, the green revolution. We're all trying to become green and green buildings and so on. How do we make our industry more green? How do we make our elevators and escalators more green? How would you make your factories more green? That's important. Sustainability plays a very, very key role. So I currently head, apart from, of course, Kone Elevators India, I head the Association for Elevators and Escalators, which is a division of IMA. And we have quite a few very active participants there. It's important that the three things I talk about, we already discussed it, but it's also very important that a lot more people join the association. Therefore, very recently, we have also opened the Elevator and Escalator Association for the suppliers. And that's a change because we would actually like input from the entire industry and not only the manufacturers of elevators and escalators. So all the suppliers who are here, all the elevator escalator companies that are here, big and small, and not a part of the Elevator and Escalator Association, I urge you to join the association so that we build a very solid industry and support our customers, which is of course our end objective. With that, thank you very much. Tak, once again, congratulations and all the best to you, and have a very great look and around and feel for the exhibition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kasai. Can I please request Ms. Meghna Mudgal to come on stage? The next section is to felicitate a legend, Mr. Praveen Tipnis. Can I please request him to come to stage? Would you like to read out?
Hello everyone, my name is Meghna Mudgal. I am the Deputy Director from Bureau of Indian Standards. I am currently the Member Secretary of the Technical Committee responsible for developing Indian standards on lifts, escalators and moving walks. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but Bureau of Indian Standards is the national standards body of India. And within Bureau of Indian Standards, we have an expert technical committee, ETD 25, which is responsible specially for standardization in the area of lifts, escalators, and moving walks. We have an expert panel, panel P4, which basically is responsible for writing the very drafts of Indian standards, to drafting them and to finalizing them. And that panel plays a key role in developing the Indian standards that we all read and use in the industry. And this committee is actually amongst one of the very active committees of Bureau of Indian Standards, and I'm very happy to see many of the faces here who are part of this work. And in the past 2-3 years, I would just like to place on record appreciation and thanks to all the panel P4 members, because almost 20 Indian standards have been published. And this has only been possible because of the arduous and the zealous efforts of all the panel P4 members. And this effort was led by none other than Mr. PM Tipnis, who is present here today. We, on behalf of Bureau of Indian Standards, would like to thank him for continuously supporting this work of national standardization and leading this work, and for bringing out such a good output. And Mr. Tipnis has been actually a very active member for the past 25 years in this committee. And now, since the past 2.5 years, he has been leading this work as the convener of panel P4. And I'm sure many of you, as part of the industry, must be aware that we are bringing out new standards, revising our existing Indian standards on lifts, which very soon would be released. We are expecting them to be released very soon. And we expect them to bring a milestone change in the Indian standards, which are currently being used by the industry today. So on behalf of Bureau of Indian Standards, we would like to present a memento to Mr. Tipnis, thanking him for his exceptional contribution. So please.
And may I please request Mr. Amit Gosai to award the memento to Mr. Tipnis. Thank you very much, Mr. Tipnis, and thank you, Mr. Gosai. The next item on the agenda holds a very special place in my heart, and I'm sure in the hearts of all the other delegates, industry veterans, and old-timers present here, because we have the singular privilege of honoring our very, very learned and very dear industry colleague, Trevor Rodriguez. And we will be launching what we call Trouble Report, a story of a lifetime compiled by Nalini Raghavan. And may I please request that the copies be brought on stage, and if I can request Trevor to please come on stage. Thank you very much. Copies are also available on donation at the Elevator and Escalator Safety Trust. Please show your love and support for Trevor. Thank you again, Trevor. Thank you again, Trevor. And now, as a formal kickoff for the day's proceedings, may I please request our chief guest, Dr. Niranjan Hirandani, to come and deliver the keynote address and formally declare Isee 2022 open. Please, sir.
A very good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for inviting me here this morning. It certainly elevates myself. So thank you so much for the kind invitation. It's wonderful to have a great panel and wonderful exhibition that has been put together. Thank Matthew for repeatedly reminding me to come for the exhibition. Thank you so much. I think we're going through great times. Couldn't have been better for the real estate or the elevator industry in India. They're continuously increasing the FSI or the FAR or the floor space index of the lands which are available over here. And so hence you're going to see taller and taller and taller buildings. And even rehabilitation buildings are going to be now more than 20 stories high. So you're going to see a lot of demand which is going to come up. Yesterday there was the announcement of the Dharavi redevelopment program, which talks about 350 hectares of land which will be there, 60,000 tenements of families who have to be rehabilitation, plus there will be commercial, residential and others. That project will equal to 10% of Mumbai's size, just one project. And that's not the only one. I also do construction, so there are many more projects coming up all over the area. You're going to see the development of the Navi Mumbai Airport and the areas around that after the Cross Harbour Bridge MTHL gets completed by December of 2023 as targeted. So you're going to see that increase. So all over the country, the number of high rises are definitely increasing. So the elevator industry, the escalator industry, the retail is going up, and that also is going to see a demand which is unbelievable. So anybody who's in this industry at this point of time is going to have a great time in terms of the opportunity, which I think is almost endless. Mr. Amit Gosain told you and confirmed what I believed was true, and I'm glad that it has come from him, that the growth of industry this year has been 30%. So you're going to see a 30% plus compounded growth from today, year on year for the next 5 years. So Mr. Gosain, you can keep coming to the functions and keep on talking about a further 30% every year, and I'm sure you're going to be right. So you're in the right industry at the right time and in the right place, and hence this exhibition is also most important because you're bringing all the people from the components, from the other people, and those who are going to deliver today. As far as the industry is concerned, I think the first and foremost, which Mr. Gosain mentioned, was safety. And I think that is paramount. And I think that's a given. You know, like quality is a given, I think safety is also a given. Second, he mentioned about sustainability, and that also is becoming more and more important for us. Even in our buildings, we have platinum rated buildings now. We are looking at all the aspects of it, plantation of trees, alternate energy, and seeing how sustainability can be done. But we also want speed. So the third S is really speed, because speed of work is necessary. We all want our buildings yesterday. I was constructing a building in Thane for TCS, and that was 1.5 million square feet, and I'm talking about 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And that building, 16-storied with 3 basements and others, from excavation to delivery, was required to be completed in 18 months, a kind of a timeline which I had never seen before for myself and for my company. But at the end of the day, since that was the need of the client, which was TCS, we had to do it, and we did. And all the people who were doing in the construction, including the elevators, all completed it in time. Mr. Chandra, who was then the head of TCS, and now he's the chairman of Tata Sons, complimented that such speed can be done. But now that the speed demand is going to come from everybody. So how can we increase the speed of delivery from start to finish is going to be important. And I think the fourth S is really service. And that's another thing which we find without which we are not going to be excused. The customer is ever demanding, and he can't have the elevator, just like you can't have your mobile off for even 1 minute, and you're not satisfied if you don't get the connectivity or you don't get the ability to use the internet or to be able to communicate, to send the messages. And you're going to have to work at the 5G speed in the elevator. The service element is becoming extremely important, because even 5 years down the line, the customer will say, X Hiranandani did not give the proper elevator, and he did not provide better elevator. Oh, look at the other building where he has given it. He's given a better elevator. So now that's another thing which we are in trouble about, that the maintenance is required to be done. And with the volume of work which is there, the maintenance part of it is going to be even more challenging for all of us, including the developer community, that we will have to do this. So all in all, my friends, an opportunity in this country as never before. You're going to see the growth potential, which is tremendous, but the people are going to become much more demanding. The industry is going to become much more competitive. It's going to be fun, but we have all the annals of positive growth in terms of it. The democratic dividend is definitely there. We have a large number. We will soon be, by June, I believe, next year, the largest population in the entire world. And we have a large number of population, which is 66% below 35 years. So the youth want all these opportunities to be done, and the growth story is great. So while GDP of India is still struggling at 6.2, you are growing at 30%. I expect that GDP next year will again come back once America and the other Western countries improve their performance. We will be able to get, and the Russia-Ukraine war hopefully ends soon. I think the GDP of India will go further and cross a double-digit growth of GDP is expected once these two items get corrected. When that happens, believe you, my friend, your 30% will look like a small figure. So all of my friends, I wish you well. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a wonderful exhibition that has taken place, and I'm sure that each and every one of you and all the people and India will benefit by your thing, and you will also benefit from the growth which India is bringing to the table, and it's a wonderful experience to be here today. So wishing you and every one of you the very, very best for what you have today, but more for what you're going to have tomorrow. All the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hirandani. Such an inspiring opening address for the conference. A slight departure from our flow of events. What I would like to do personally, as a proud privilege, is to invite our friend Priyanka and Prabodh Hamilton on stage. Can I please have you both on stage? Prabodh, I don't see you here. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of unsung heroes behind the scenes, tirelessly, no sleep, no food, no rest. But all of this that you see here has been put up by veterans, soldiers, and bravehearts like Priyanka and Prabodh. Let's give them a round of applause, please. What I would now request the august gathering here, the audience here on stage, is to please follow us for 3 product launches, and the names being Arkel, Vitur, and Absen. We will be guiding you towards their respective stalls for their product launches. If you would please do us the honor of gracing them for their product launch initiatives. Thank you very much, and thank you. You've been a great audience.